It's Thursday the 7th of September. Been down at Wisley for a few days. This is my first day back. What a fabulous show despite the season. It's great to get back though and find that the Dahlias have come on a lot since I last saw them on Sunday. Even though there's still a long way to go yet, but looks very, very promising. So a lot more colour about. Everything's looking green and healthy. There's a variety over in the distance there which is Asquith Mini that I think next year, to try and time it for Harrogate, I'm going to have to stop it a little bit later on or run it back a bit because that's almost over. Our main plot's colouring up quite nicely as well, but with 5 days to cut, with 5 days before we start cutting for Harrogate, it is going to be tight. Really needed another few days of warm weather. It's warm and heavy today, but it's been overcast all day. The sun's been hiding behind the clouds. Well, it's a little bit cooler. You can tell the weather's been fairly favourable because this is Normandy Delight. I managed to get 3 blooms for this down to Wisley, and these particular ones are outside and not much wrong with them. The reds in the distance there's Indian Summer and Taratahi Ruby. Quite short this year. This is Happy Perfect. I'd like to see how this does outside because I might be relying on these for next week. And then Normandy Frills again outside, which is one of my favourite of the fimbriatids. And here we are at a different end of the plot. This is Hamari Rose. It's shown a lot more pink on the screen than it actually is. It's much more a peachy pink. And despite the season and everything, that's actually a foot taller virtually than last year. Whereas Mary's Jemanda and Megan Dean they're all around about the same height. But yeah, that's the sort of day we've had, with the sun barely getting through the cloud cover. And a few beds of chrysanthemums there starting to come through. Sprays are looking very good. And here we've got some of our trial varieties which are starting to flower now. Some of these we've had before, such as Westerton Lady Gwenda. And some, this is our first year of growing them. So it's Gillian Broughton. Behind that is Kelgian. This is Christine Laidler. And a new variety for this year that's been added to the catalogue is Rossendale Donald. This one's a seedling from Tom Cleghorn called Jigger, which is a nice bicolour, very even, like good garden variety, nice and bright. Highfield Sunrise, nice starred dahlia that we're trying. And this is another one of Tom's called Highbrow. Now on Sunday the giant and large had virtually no colour on them. Just one variety which where the buds had broken a little bit. Whether there'll be much in 5 days time, it all depends on the temperatures, because I know once they start coming out, they're very, very quick. Plants I'm really, really pleased with. It's just the timing's a little bit off this year, just with how cold it was and wet in June, July. Well, I've certainly got no complaints about how the plants look. Only complaint is there's no colour on them. Now this area we had covered last year. They're just in the open. Wind took all the covers off and I haven't got round to putting it back on, but there's some again more Normandy frills, and this is another block of Rossendale Donald with a few more of the Fims planted in this row. And then we put a few varieties in, just planted out as tubers, tubers that I'd bought in to have a look at. Never managed to get them propagated. They got put in on the 29th of June, very, very late. We've just left them to come through, and some of them are old varieties. There's Jerry Hawk there, and this one's Cornell Bronze, which we've had Cornell before, and Ivanetti the sport of it. Just interested to see how these have done, because to be honest, I've never planted tubers straight out before. This is looking at the giant and large from the top end of the nursery right down across, right the way over all with Dahlia fields, all 7,500 of them, and you can't see the very, very bottom corner there because it's hidden behind those silver birch trees there, but there's another 1,000 planted beyond that. And then those buds there is Bonaventure, which are right in front of me. So it might be late, but there's going to be a really good show from next week through to the end of October, weather permitting. And then after having virtually no choice of Fims for Wisley, we've got a few Normandy frills there ready to go, some Citron de Cap, a couple of Hapid Perfect there. I'm really hopeful for these Le Feur de Soleil. Plenty Normandy Delight to go at, which need a watering. I'll have to do that before I go. And then my other favourite is Normandy Delight. After no buds, I've got a funny feeling I'm going to have nothing of that variety for Harrogate, or for Newby Hall rather, next week. But just as a reminder, all of these here are grown in peat-free compost with added Osmocote. It's a very busy night at Newcastle Airport. I keep having to stop filming and take a break while something else flies in. And then again, all these chrysanthemums, again, all in peat-free compost.